Hello, geometry students and general seekers of truth. We're going to continue our series of videos on the basics of angles here, and we're going to deal with another postulate, which is called the protractor postulate. So just a little quick recall. You might want to look at some of your previous notes to see what a postulate means, and then continue with this video. So this one says that given an angle, a congruent angle can be constructed using a compass and a straight edge. So that means if I make some sort of angle here, and we call this angle A, it doesn't matter what the measure of this is. This postulate says that angle A can be perfectly replicated without making any measurements. Okay. And we'll go into this a little bit detail later on as to how we actually do that. But for now, what the postulate says is that it can be done. And the second postulate of the day is the angle addition postulate. It says that if P is in the interior of RST, then the measure of RST is equal to the measure of RSP plus the measure of PST. So this sounds more complicated than it really is. Let's start by drawing out some information. So first we're going to create an angle RST. So there's our angle. And then we need a point in the interior. Now, it does not have to be the midpoint. It does not have to be halfway of anything. It just has to fall somewhere in between the two rays of this angle. Okay. Then the measure of RST, so that's the measure of this blue angle here, is equal to the measure of RSP. So I'm going to construct RSP using a straight edge. So RSP is basically this piece right here that I've highlighted in yellow. Plus the measure of PST, which is the other angle in here. Okay. So all it's saying is that if you have two angles that share a common side, then you can find the measure of the big one by adding the two small ones together. Okay. And again, if you looked at your notes on postulates, you should know that postulates are meant to be simple. You can't always prove them, but you don't need to because they're pretty straightforward to understand. Now I'm going to do a couple of these examples, and then I'll ask you just to do the rest on your own. Give another name for the angle in the diagram, then tell whether the angles appear to be acute, obtuse, right, or straight. So the first one is JKL. Okay, so that's this one right here. So another name that we can give here is angle K. Since there's only one angle with K as its vertex, we can use that single letter. And it appears, so the word appears here just means that we can estimate. So this looks like it's a right angle. I'm going to skip around a little bit. Let's see, angle PQM. So PQM is this one right here that I'm sort of highlighting in red. And another so from the estimation here, it looks like this angle is acute. Okay. Now, as far as another name, we cannot just use Q because Q is the vertex of multiple different angles. So another way we can do this is just to name it using the same letters but going in reverse, MQP. Okay. So whenever a point is the vertex for multiple angles, we have to use 3 different points in order to name that particular angle. So hopefully this gives you some sense of how to do these problems, and I'll leave the other ones to you to do on your own, and you can ask your teacher in class if you don't quite know the answer. I'm going to continue on and solve one more problem. So here we know that the measure of ABC is equal to 94 degrees, and we want to find CBD. So using the angle addition postulate, we can see that these two angles, the one that's represented by 3x plus 15 and the one represented by x plus 7, add up to equal 94. So we can say 3x plus 15 plus x plus 7 is equal to 94 degrees. Okay? And now we can just combine our like terms. This is all addition, so we don't have to worry about any complications. 4x plus 22 equals 94. Subtract 22 from both sides, and we get 4x equals 72. And then divide by 4, and x equals 18. Now here's where most students usually stop, and they would be incorrect, because it's asking for the measure of CBD. It's not asking for x. So to find CBD, that's this blue angle here, we need to make some substitution. So the measure of CBD is equal to x plus 7, but x is really 18. So that means CBD is 18 plus 7, or 25 degrees. Okay. And so there you have it. Just some basic work with the vocabulary here, and also using the angle addition postulate to set up an algebra problem and solve for the right answer. We will work through some of these other problems in class if you have Mr. Wen as your teacher. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.